So Tetra is in essence, think of it in the most simplest term. It's an editor, right? It's an editor that allows you to interact with any smart contract on the blockchain. Okay. Now, what happens in the background with Tetra is that we've got an algorithm and some components that we've written that goes to any smart contract that you choose, and it scans that smart contract and it looks at all the different variables and all the different options and the different functions that contract can physically execute on the blockchain. And then what it does is it brings back a whole host of different options that you can use to interact with that contract. Okay. And it does it in such a way where it creates blocks in an editor on a screen. So you can move these blocks around. You can arrange them in any way which you like. And then you say, I want to go and take a look at another smart contract because I want to do something with this smart contract, but then I want to take some of, the coins or whatever, and then I want to go and use them with another smart contract. So you start to build up like a flow. You've seen Neil's flows and Red Squirrel's flows. This is effectively what it's doing. But within each section of that, Tetra is not actually going to look all that different to what these flow diagrams look like, right? Obviously, you're going to be able to edit them in real time. So you basically draw the flows using all these different blocks. But what's actually happening is that when you connect to a smart contract and you say, okay, I want to interact with this smart contract, and what is it you want to do? Okay, so then you tell the system, and you have a multitude of different blocks available for maths, as well as if statements and functions and various other operators that you would want to be able to execute things, right? So a really simple thing to do would be to create a visual limit order. So you could say that I want to go and buy HEX when it reaches this price, and I want to scan it across Portal X, the X aggregator, right? And then it goes to find the best possible price, and it buys HEX from as many different pools as it possibly can when it reaches that price. And we call that a visual limit order. So that's like one really simple option. And that's going to be the majority of people use that as the initial first step in a strategy, is to actually take their principle, which could be anything they want. It could be Pulse, it could be HEX. If you've already got HEX, you can have that sitting there. But you want to have a trigger. You want to trigger something in the market needs to trigger the next step for you to then for your strategy then to move to the next step in the strategy. That could be price. It could be the volume. It could be a variety of different things. You could even use another indicator from another asset as being a trigger for you to go ahead and move to the next step in a strategy. So we all know how ICOSA is very closely related to HEX, and that there could be some indicators with ICOSA which may say to you, okay, well, I want to get some HEX at this price if the volume and price change of ICOSA is this, right? So it is literally limitless in terms of what it's like. If this, then that. That's basically what it is for blockchain, but done in a very visual way, zero code. You don't need to do any programming whatsoever, and it generates a smart contract for you that goes and executes this stuff when it is told to by decentralized Oracle services.
So when you say limitless too, so I have a security background professionally, and the first thing I think of is, attack surface, limitless. Limitless, good things can happen, maybe limitless bad things as well. How do you deal with, the attack surface thing? I think that's some of the criticism around Tetra is, Richard used to bash Ethereum in the old days saying, it's full of attack surface, Bitcoin's better, all that stuff. What would you say to people who are kind of skeptical around, how are people not going to lose millions of dollars using a system like this? How have you thought about that?
Well, in terms of the security elements, we can come back to that as a separate thing, and maybe Neil could speak a bit about that with some of the stuff that he and Red Squirrel have been doing from a security standpoint. There are a number of different things that are built into what we call the strategy wallet, which is effectively a smart wallet contract that allows for extra layers of security. And Tetra can be used itself to build even deeper levels of security from a personal standpoint. Okay, so personal security in terms of you own the contract, it's your coins. You can whitelist the tokens that the that your smart wallet can, your strategy wallet can actually use. You're signing permissions up to a certain level that only allow for the strategy to execute through in its process. So there's a whole bunch of things that are in there from a security standpoint that that are additional protection for individual users. As far as Tetra being used as a tool to attack, if that's kind of what you were talking about, was that what you meant?
I can think. I mean, even not even on the exploitation side of it, I was thinking more of, could you do something wrong where you lose yourself money? It's kind of like a self-inflicted deal.
Right. Right. Okay. So, I mean, well, we're definitely going to be educating our users and customers on how to use the protocol, which and one of the key elements of the interface is to make sure that it is easy to use, that people can understand what it is that they're doing, how they're using it, and what it is that's actually happening. So there's going to be a ton of content for people to learn that. If you don't want to do that, then there's going to be other people that create strategies like Neil. These will be upvoted in the community. So you don't even need to create a strategy. You could create a pre-made strategy that you just drag and drop into your strategy wallet and have it run with whatever sort of principles that you want, right? As far as so those are the kind of
I was just gonna say on that, that's a very interesting point where it's kind of like use at your own risk if you develop your own strategies. But hey, these are the ones community has provided with good confidence. We feel like these have been tested. Yes. There's no way, I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, there's no way to guarantee that it's going to be bug free 100%. But these are the ones other people are using. It's been tested, and to the best of our ability. Maybe that's a good question too. Is, are you able to audit these kinds of things? Is there any kind of like way to get more security around that?
Yes, you're absolutely right. So so the core elements of the smart contract generation method that utilizes these operators and various different functions and things are going to create standardized smart contracts, right? Now, as part of that is going to be part of our audit process in the future. And the audit firm that we're working with are fully aware of it. We've had many discussions with them on how we're going to approach this, and they're confident that they're going to be able to give us a green check mark on the elements that we provide for people to be able to build out strategies, right? But there is no guarantee, because if we are effectively building a sandbox here, so anybody can use it to create whatever they want. So we need the community. The community needs to be on board in terms of, number one, wanting to use it, which I think that they will want to use it. I've got no doubt about that. But the second part is that there needs to be a general community spirit towards strategies and automations that work, that are vetted, that are that do what they say they're going to do. And if we've got prominent community members that are building those, that are being involved, like Neil, like Red Squirrel, like Crypto Sloth, and more people will come along as well. It almost becomes like people are asking, is this strategy safe to interact with, in the same way that you would ask, is this contract safe to interact with?
I wanted to pass it to Neil for a second too, to talk about like, why would people want to use Tetra? Like, how is it going to make them money, for example? If that's the number one question, why is using Tetra going to make them more money than not using Tetra, for example?
Because Tetra will be able to do things in a matter of time, as well as conditions, as Stu pointed out, if then statements and stuff that you cannot possibly do manually, because market conditions may happen when you're not available at your computer. That's the main thing. So when we design these strategies, it's all about what conditions you're placing upon the asset that you're trying to either trade, swap, sell, buy, whatever, or generate yield through different means and methods, like borrowing against liquid loans and haunted strategy, when you borrow against your collateral and stuff like that. So that strategy alone has like several steps in it that you'll miss out on several key points of borrowing if you're away from your computer. So if Pulse runs up, 20, 30, 40x in a wick, you just missed out, you see, if you're not there. And Tetra can handle this and catch these things as a per block basis of time within the blockchain.
Okay.
So you're getting your time back, because it's all automated, and then you can do concentrate on other things.
Right, but it's not free, right? So how do you? I guess that's a natural next question: is how would people use it? Because I assume there's a token involved of some sort. How does the product actually work, like end to end?
All right. So being a software as a service, it's free to use and to test. It won't cost you anything to test your strategies. If you want to make something up or take an existing strategy and test it with market conditions, and try to break it or try to see what kind of yield you get. But once this is implemented, there will be a fee charge by the users based upon the volume of the tokens moved in the strategy. And Stu can answer that a little bit better.
Yeah.
So go first, Stu.
Yeah, no worries. So so within each step within a strategy, there would be a fee for the protocol to automate that step within a fee. Now we've sort of spoke about half of 1% or decimalized as 0.05, which is a very small amount in terms of the potential returns that people would get and things like that. And if you're setting up a strategy that over time will eventually execute, it's just a case of you waiting for the market conditions to be right. You know what I mean? So I'm sure people are going to be prepared to and happy to pay that in the same way that they would pay for a subscription to Microsoft Office or whatever. But this is a pay-as-you-go service, right? So the fees are really cheap. What was the other part of the question again, Max? Sorry.
Well, I was trying to frame it in a way you could explain end to end. Hey, I want to do the haunted strategy, for example. I want to do that with Tetra. Where would I even begin to start doing that? And what would I need to do it? Do I need, token? Yeah. Do I need, something?
Oh, right. That was the other thing. Yeah. Sorry. Let me just quickly answer on that point regarding the token. So you don't need to hold any Tetra tokens at all to be able to utilize the protocol. You just pay your fees in stable coins like you would pay your gas and the gas token. So you hold a bit of stable coin in your strategy wallet. You hold a bit of gas in there and whatever your principal is. And your stables will pay for your fees. And your gas tokens obviously pay for your gas as well. So as far as that's concerned, you don't need to hold any Tetra tokens, anything like that. And I mean, we don't even need to talk about the token because it's irrelevant to the operational aspect of the protocol as well. So, I've openly said that publicly that the price of Tetra really does not matter. It's if you own a share and you want to stake it, you get some of those fees, and it's really that simple. So
how does it fit in? So if it's not used to use the service, what is the game theory behind the Tetra token? Why does it exist?
It's your share in the protocol. If you want to own a part of the protocol, you can hold some tokens, and if you wish, you can stake them and receive a portion of the yield as a portion to whatever your token holding is. So
and where does the yield come from?
It comes from the fees that the users pay to use the protocol.
So the fees are paid in stablecoin, right?
Correct.
And then how does that process work? How's that mechanic? How does it get from fees being paid in stablecoin to getting paid for holding or staking Tetra?
So the Tetra, if you hold the Tetra token, you simply stake it into the Tetra staking contract, and every so often at a given moment in time, or when a treasury reaches a certain point, then the stable coins that have been collected from the users' fees are put into the pool and distributed among the stakers. So those that stake Tetra receive stable coins as yield perpetually.
Gotcha. And they'll just be like a portal, and you'll be like, oh, I can stake Tetra, and then you can check to see how much yield
literally, it's literally just going to be the most simple user interface: stake, unstake, collect. That's it.
So what do you need? So other than just paying the fees in stablecoin, that's what you need to run the strategies in like a SaaS format. And then if you want to earn fees from people paying those fees, you can stake. Do you need to stake the Hedron token or just hold it?
You just need to stake it.
Yeah, stake it. Okay, so acquire it and stake it. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. I'm just clicking through a couple of these strategies while we've been talking. Is there maybe we can go through one of these that are interesting, kind of see what this looks like and how it's analogous to what Tetra would be doing for that.
Okay, sure. I mean, just you want to look at this one, this law has, or this one here?
This one has more colors.
Yeah. All right. So this is the arbitration strategy that Red came up with. This is, I think, version 1, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so we were trying to come up with a way to utilize Tetra to arbitrage between these three stable coins. And so, and basically, you're just using Tetra to automate the buy low, sell high process when each of these break peg, whether it be liquid loans or Power City, or the Coast being kind of the common one because it's always tied to the fiat. So it's kind of its own thing. But the others two will fluctuate based upon redemptions in the market and stuff with the asset fluctuations of Pulse and PulseX. And so in this, he's got this automated. So if you put your stables in a pool and then you run the strategy, the strategy is going to basically arb for you with your pooled stable coins when the market conditions meet. And so this is something that it'd be complicated to do because, I mean, how many times does a stable coin go out of peg during the day? Are you going to be there every time it does? And it's only going to go in your favor? Or what happens when we get a USDC event and we drop like 10%? You know, you're missing out right there. Can you always be there when that happens? And that's what Tetra will do, is allow you to take advantage of this. And these are probably one of the more popular strategies just because it's stable coins and impermanent loss risk is very low.
It sounds like a lot of strategies are around like arbitrage.
Yeah, it is. It's because it's easy to do. And now when Fiat came out and talked about their stuff, I found out a way, just doing some research, that with the flash loan, we can do an arbitrage using a flash loan in one block. So in 10 seconds. Oh yeah. It's pretty amazing because now we can come with a pooled strategy and take people in Tetra, so everybody can enter into the contract safely, which these contracts can be immutable also. So that's another thing Stu could talk about. But you can enter into a pooled strategy with your stable coins, and then when the conditions meet, your stable coins are used in a pool to take a flash loan out and arb, and then return it back, and then everybody gets their yield proportionally.
So yeah, I think a lot of people, when they hear that, the flash loan, all this stuff they're not familiar with, they think, oh, how could that mess up? Like there's something's going to go wrong. So you want to talk a little bit more about like the guardrails too? I just want to make sure everyone is clear on the thought and the process and the safeguards, as you will, that are in the system that can that are supposed to stop things from happening that aren't. And again, a lot of these are going to be community blessed and tested and stuff like that too. But just I think when people hear these big words, they're like, how do I not mess this up? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, so what we'll do is we would basically say interacting with the fiat and famous protocol with the flash loan, and they'll have it set up with their parameters, and you have to where they work, you pay the gas limit to do it. So if everybody's pooling their resources together, they enter into the flash loan together as a pool and do the arbitrage, which would be programmed in the Tetra contract. You see, so. So then when the opportunity happens for the arbitrage event to occur during that block, it basically deploys this smart contract using the funds that are in it, and then it's over. Then the yield is distributed to the owners of the tokens. So the as far as risk and stuff, I mean, it's only going to work just like it would work manually. So there's any extra risk. We're not doing anything you couldn't do manually on the blockchain. We're just automating the process. And so with the pooling and stuff, we can make sure that that's done correctly, so nobody can come in and out. That's locked and it's immutable. That's part of the programming that Tetra will have and allow us to use to make sure that nobody can take advantage of others. So, and it can always be tested too. For people, we can get together and test as a group and try it out to make sure these things won't be problems.
There was a comment in the. Yeah, I was just going to say quickly. There was a comment in there where Larry O had said it sounds as if Tetra will increase volatility. It's actually, in terms of arbitrage, it's the opposite. It helps to bring health to the system because if Tetra is used as widely used as an automation tool for people to arb between the stable coins, it actually helps to bring health to the system and helps to keep those better pegged, which is a good thing for the protocols. It's a good thing for the whole ecosystem, and it's a great thing that if Tetra can provide that service to people, you're actually empowering the whole community to be able to take advantage of the arbitrage opportunity while keeping the system healthy and safe at the same time. So it really is something that can help to bring a lot of people across the whole ecosystem together at all levels.
Very interesting. And some of the products, you see liquid loans in here. You mentioned fiat. What are the products you think in the PulseChain ecosystem that will be taking advantage of this type of stuff? What are the, I guess, easiest ones to work with? You think people will be trying to do different strategies around? Either of you?
Yeah, it's well the big names. You get Power C, liquid loans, fiat, then HEX obviously, because you can then automate your HEX stakes and the ending and the beginning of the Hedron, and then all your Hedron ICOSA plays and any of the staking you do with those, and then reinvestment of those yields and stuff like that. Then basically anything that anything can be used. That's the thing, it's limitless. So we're just basically automating the blockchain and the usability of blockchain for everyone. So certain ones, like a meme coin, well, you can swing trade a meme coin, stuff like that, and things that have no utility. But we're coming up with ways in our background trying to make it where every token on the blockchain can be used or be Tetra could utilize it to have some value and to increase the value by allowing people to participate in whatever token they choose and they like.
Other than arbitrage too, what are some examples of strategies that you could deploy?
Oh, okay. So you could short and long just by automatically doing it and using like a Tetra's ability to gather information. You can use a time-weighted average price to make sure those happen at your safe risk level. You can do the leveraging plays if you want. We already talked about flash loans, and then you got things like just basic swapping and limit orders just by acquiring stuff. And then on top of that, as you do these strategies, you earning yield if they're designed correctly, and that yield can be used to DCA into other projects and to other things that you really like. So if you really want the blue chips like you're talking about, well, if you want more pulse, well, you could be a validator to get pulse, or you can like run the harness strategy to get more pulse and stuff like that, or PulseX using Power City and their own protocol. Then you have just different ways to utilize the stable coins in the stability pools. I mean, it's endless. I mean, there's no one strategy or one type of strategies. I mean, there's strategies you could never sell. There's strategies you could just try to buy low, sell high, and hit these markers you can
use Tetra to manage your LP positions as well, which is another big thing.
Oh yeah, that's real big. I mean, all right. So let's say there's a DEX that comes over with V3 liquidity, because we don't know what PulseX right now. It looks like all V2. Well, Tetra can automatically move your liquidity to be in the concentrated range you want as the price moves. You can be programmed to do that. Now you got to pay gas and stuff to do so, but you can stay within that range that you're comfortable with. It can just move along and follow it, getting you the most fees.
Very interesting. Yeah, that's why, because I know a lot of the stuff is around arbitrage or otherwise, but it's kind of just up to whatever protocols and platforms you're interacting with, other smart contracts you're talking to, what they provide, what kind of things you would do manually, as you said.
Yeah.
And just to recap on how people can use. So let's say, hey, I want to do the Honda strategy. Just it's the most common, one of the most common ones out there. People think about, okay, here's manually. It's been explained, a bunch of different times how to do it manually. I want to do that with Tetra. Has the platform launched yet?
Not yet. No.
Okay. Okay. So
we're a little over 50% complete in terms of development. We're going to be launching at the end of the summer, but we'll have a closed beta well before that. Neil's had a sneak preview along with a few other guys of the initial user interface, which is what we're working on at the minute. That's the big chunky work right now, believe it or not, is actually the UI. There's a lot of work to go into that, and we want, like we said, we want to make it easy for people to use. So that's extra effort for us.
Gotcha. Yeah, no. Okay. So 2 more weeks or the end of summer. And and then once we have the platform, don't need Tetra coin to use it. Only need to pay the fees in stablecoin. You go to the website, you go to the platform. You can, I guess, you connect a wallet. You connect wallet utility.
So you can. Yeah. So you in the first instance, the first time you come to use Tetra, you will need to generate your first strategy wallet, and you can create as many strategy wallets as you want. So there's a small gas fee associated with that. Once your strategy wallet is operational, then whatever traditional wallet you used to generate that strategy wallet effectively owns that wallet, right? So think of it as being like you're deploying your own smart contract, because that's effectively what it is. So that smart contract needs to be owned by someone or an address, and that would be the deployer's address. So you go to Tetra, you create a strategy wallet, it puts a contract on the blockchain. You have the keys to that wallet, basically. You have the keys to that contract. It's your personal smart contract. Then you can start to build your strategies and you know, deploy that to the blockchain, and effectively that's how it's managed. You can use a hardware wallet. It doesn't matter if you're using MetaMask or internet money or whatever. You can use any wallet to generate, and that's the kind of key part. So the way that then works is that you're effectively signing permissions to allow the strategy to execute. And you know, like Red Squirrel's got some of his stuff in the strategy guild, where he's got the what's he call it, the Squirrel Sentinel, which is like it basically holds like the gas outside the strategy wallet, and it's like a whitelisted address that can only send gas to the wallet. So if somebody else was to send gas to the wallet to try and take the tokens within that strategy wallet, then it just basically keeps taking the gas and putting it into one of your whitelist addresses. That's
pretty cool. Yeah.
So there's loads of things, and it's like we're really only just like scratching the surface of what Tetra is going to be able to do. We're limited by our imagination, and I knew that when we embarked on building this, that it really is truly going to be a sandbox that is going to allow people to do anything that they want to do. And the likes of Neil and the rest of the guys, and there'll be more people in the future that come up with great ideas, great strategies, and great things that Tetra can be used for. And we hope that the community will get behind it and promote the good things that it does. And that's where I think we can see real success across the whole of the ecosystem, just by taking advantage of the tools.
Yeah, I think so far you definitely got a lot of people interested in it and coming up with these strategies, and just excited about automating DeFi and doing it in a safe way too. I think that's the biggest thing for people to get over. But yeah, it's super interesting. I'll look at the chat. I mean, you guys can, if you have something else to bring up as well, but I was going to look at the chat and see what questions we have here too.
Yeah, while you're doing that, something that I mentioned earlier is about pooling your resources. So like the harness strategy only really works to get $20,000 of value if you want it to be safe at 1,000% collateralization rate. Well, if you don't have that kind of money, you can pool your resources together with people and do it as a pool. So with Tetra, and it's trustless, so you don't have to worry about your friends ripping you off, you say, or these people you don't know. So something else we consider that Tetra will allow us. So things that need lots of volume, like arbitration with stablecoins, you can be able to use more money to really earn more fees efficiently, because you're splitting the gas amongst people.